Hi, this is Sandy Eagon with Keller Williams Realty. Thanks so much for joining me today. We're talking about how we helped one of our buyers, and we got real close and personal in that transaction to make sure that it happened for him. I got an email a few months ago from one of my past clients. He thanked me for staying in touch even when he didn't always return my phone calls. And it was time for him to sell his home and to buy the next home for him and his fiance. So we started taking a look around. They ultimately chose a house that's in Monroe. We competed for this house against another buyer and we won. We scheduled that inspection, and lo and behold, the roof was toast. We got our roofer out there just to make sure that no, there really was no life left in that, and then we asked the seller to go ahead and replace the roof. The seller had a hard time with that because he had just put about 20 grand into the house to fix it up after he'd had renters in there, and so it was just a little bit too much for him to handle price-wise and what he was going to get out of it. And so we opted to go ahead and split that price with him. We raised the price of the house a little bit, but that was not a problem because my buyer was going to get the full value of that roof and for the whole time frame of it. So he was happy with that, and we were moving right along. The roof got repaired. In fact, we even, to give the sellers confidence that we were not going anywhere after they put another $7,000 into this, we decided to make our earnest money non-refundable after the roof was finished. I thought that showed great faith. My buyer agreed. And so we moved right along until we didn't appraise. Now, the appraisal can be a little subjective. We were in the range of still getting a great opportunity, but the appraiser disagreed. And so we went back and forth a little bit with the sellers and the seller's agent, and they were just not budging. They wanted every single penny that they had originally been promised, but guess what? It just wasn't there. And my buyer, my vet, was not going to pay more for the house than he could finance for, and he was not going to pay more for the house than it was worth. So we started talking with the lender about different options, and the lender was so creative. That's why I appreciate having team members who think outside of the box. And what he was able to do is he said, how about this? I can adjust the interest rate a little bit, and then instead of bringing money to pay for his own closing costs, which is what he was going to do, then he can bring that money in and pay that as a down payment, and that can cover that roof expense. And it was a little complicated, but it worked out just fine. And I emailed that over to the other agent, and I got no response. And I reached out again and I got no response. And so I just thought, I need to jump in and make this personal. Now, I can tell you I've had one agent come by my office in probably the last 4 or 5 years to present an offer. We don't have a lot of face-to-face in this business anymore. It's a lot of fax, it's a lot of email. And I decided I was just going to show up at his office. And so I did. And it's about a half an hour away from me. But not a problem. I went in there and he was there, but he was in a meeting with his team. I was not about to barge in and say that I was more important, so I waited for him to be finished with his meeting for about half an hour. And we sat down and talked about it. And he said, well, my seller just feels like he's put all this into it, and he doesn't want to, he doesn't feel like he should have to bite the bullet and eat all of that expense. And I said, well, how about what I sent over, that we're actually able to pay that $7,000 for the roof, and our lender is going to cover the closing costs. And so it all works out in the math. It just looks a little differently than what we had first proposed. He says, well, I will take this to my seller. He took it to his seller. His seller wasn't real happy because he still wasn't getting every penny that we had agreed upon previously, but it was a lot better than what the appraiser had suggested. So he took the offer. Now my vet is in there with his rescue puppy, and they're having a great time making it their home. His fiance is so excited that she has keys to this home that is going to be their forever home where they can raise their kids, and everybody's going to live happily ever after. And that happened because I took the time to go to his office and sit down and meet with him face to face and say, this is what we can do. We are glad to look for a solution. Let's put this together. And it happened. So if you're looking for that agent who is ready to drive that extra mile, take some time, meet face to face, and make sure that people understand who we really are and what we're really looking for and how we're willing to be part of that solution. I'm your gal. My team is ready to make it work for you. So go ahead and click the boxes if you'd like to talk with me about real estate right now. We'd love to be that solution for you. Have a super day, and I'm excited to talk with you next time.